Hello, everybody. We are so excited to have you here. We are doing our event of the month, in my opinion, because it's setting ourselves up for six figures in the next year, well, 2023, let's call it. My name is Melanie Greenough. I'm the CEO and founder of She's Creating an Empire. If you've been to any of our events, you know that weekly we try to add value to your life, whether you're a coach, network marketer, consultant, maybe you're a salesperson or a CEO of a company. We want for you to have the tools and strategies that you need to build a business brand and bank account that you absolutely love. Now, what we want you to do, of course, is make sure that you have given StreamYard permission so that we can see your comments, because of course they'll block it if we don't see it. And we are really here today to set you up for long-term success. So it's really about creating that environment for your goals to thrive, for you to really get to a place where you can confidently say, I know how I made, six figures. I know exactly how to reproduce that. Now, I want you to know that depending on where you're starting from, some of you maybe have just a job right now. When I say just a job, you have a stream of income. And that's a great way to, stay on track with paying your bills and, that kind of thing. But a job isn't probably going to get you free. What we want to do is be able to create more than enough money. So there's three real, pillars to being able to create wealth. One is earn more, right? Second is keep more. And the third is learn to make it grow. Now, on the earning more front, when I had a traditional business, I actually had two traditional businesses. I wasn't earning enough money to be able to thrive, to be able to invest, etc., every single month. And so what I did was I created other ways to make money. For me, I stepped into network marketing because it was a low barrier to entry. It wasn't a ton of money to get started. And it was a way for me to actually produce an unlimited amount of income without having to run the systems and do the thing. So for me, that worked. Then I went into coaching. After a few years and a lot of success, I was able to step into becoming a coach. That was another stream of income. And so as you're going through your process of building your six-figure model, I want you to understand that you might, not have anything starting right now, meaning you're at your job, you don't have anything extra, and you're thinking, well, how am I ever supposed to get to six figures if I have this job that pays me $55,000 a year? Well, the reality is you have to step outside of what you're currently doing. We have to find ways to step outside of that mainstream of income. And the second part of it is learn to live within our means. And I know that's not sexy and I know it's not fun, but we really do have to learn to become a master of money. And learning to master your money means you're putting it to work and it's going out to bring you back more money, right? So of course, I understand that, depending on where you're starting from, this can feel overwhelming. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. What I'd rather you do was embrace the idea that it's possible for you. We have a lot of women in our community that started either with no job, meaning they were stay-at-home moms or whatever, or I even have some people that had like a doctor with a practice, or somebody who had a not six-figure, but like high 70s, 80s for an income. And they've been able to transition out of just doing that or solely doing that, meaning they've left it completely, to being able to build businesses online that paid them over six figures. Okay. So regardless of where you're starting from, there is a couple of key steps that you can use to get yourself to six figures. Number one, we have to tune our frequency. Everything is energy. If you've been around our community for any period of time, you'll hear me talk about this, but we are energy. And so just like a radio station, right? Let's pretend this is a radio. I can dial into whatever radio station that I want to listen to. So if I want to listen to the wealth station over here, but I'm dialed into the poverty mentality over here, how likely am I to tune into the right frequency if I'm not trying to adjust that dial? And this is something that a lot of people miss when we are going through our lives thinking, feeling. These are all frequencies that we're sending out. They're energy that we're sending out, and our energy is bringing back to us things that match that frequency. So for example, if you're saying, oh, I want a 6-figure year, but you're saying things like, well, I can't afford that. I don't have the money. It's never going to work for me. You can see that those frequencies, they're not the same frequency. They don't work together. So therefore, you can't attract those things into your life when you've got that inside, game going on, or, you know what I'm saying, tape. So how can you adjust your frequency? What are some things that you can do to adjust your frequency? Number one, you can read your business builder statements that are in your planner. If you don't have your planner yet, you can go ahead and order your 2023, which is about to be sent out. But what I want you guys to see here is that what we've done is we've actually created a business book where you get to do your mission, your vision every single day. You can read through these. Your commercial, why should people join you or work with you? Your business builder statements, right? These are things like everything I touch turns to gold. Every time I expose a client to my product or service, they not only buy from me, but become raving fans and refer everyone they know. I'm a top leader. I'm a 1%er. These are business builder statements that tune your frequency instantly into the thing that you're seeking. Then, of course, your rewards. And I'm so happy and grateful now that. So this little thing, which is only 2 pages long, which doesn't seem like it's going to be any kind of magical cure, but what it does is actually tune your frequency into that getting wealthy station. And this is an active recovery program. Let's call it that. We're recovering from the poverty mentality that oftentimes has been passed down through generation after generation, for sure is taught in school. There's no amount of, untraining that we have been taught. So you go to school for 12 years, they program you a certain way to become an employee, make a certain amount of money, and, not want too much and not do too much, right? And then you come out of that, you want to become an entrepreneur or a coach or a network marketer. And now all of a sudden you are hitting this ceiling of like, well, I can't want too much. I can't do too much. I can't work too hard. That's another one. I listened to a podcast with Grant Cardone the other day, and he was saying, when did work become a dirty word, right? Everyone's seeking balance. What is balance? Like balance in what? Balance in the fact that you don't have enough money, balance in the fact that you can't pay your bills, or that your debt's mounting up, or that you're working at a job that you can't stand, but at least, God forbid, at least you can sit down and have dinner with your family every night. He said, what is that? Why is work a dirty word? And so we want to be able to not only own what our frequency is, but take full responsibility for the state that we find ourselves in and choose to tune into that wealth frequency. So let me just take a minute and ask you, and I want you to respond to yourself, or you can drop in the chat if you want to. Are you currently tuned into the frequency that's going to bring you back the thing that you desire? If your thoughts, feelings, and emotions brought back to you what you were thinking about, feeling about, is that something that you would want in your life? That's question number one. Because radical responsibility, personal responsibility, means that we understand everything that is seeking us is because of what we've put out there. You see, a radio doesn't pick up a radio station that it's not tuned into. So we really have to get clear on this. Now, how do we break out of, or how do we elevate, or how do we change our frequency? We already talked about the business builder statements, right? Exercise, going out 15, 20 minutes a day, half an hour a day, moving your body, right? Giving the thing that we want to get. If you want more love, give love. If you want more money, give money. If you want more whatever, give it away first. You see, we have to give to receive. And then once we give, we have to be willing to receive. And the willing to receive part is getting to that place of being tuned into and allowing the thing to come to you. Sorry, guys. All right. So that's tip number one. Number two, practically for 6 figures, we have to ask ourselves, okay, what do I want to pour my time, money, and energy into this year that's going to produce a result? This is really important. We can't just, spend our time whittling away, doing whatever. Posting on social media doesn't make you money, although it's a portion of what can bring leads to bring it to you, right? So, but it's not in itself a profit producing activity. What else do we spend our time doing? Scrolling, watching other people's social media, time spent doing the kids' laundry when they can do their own laundry. Our time is our most precious asset. And we want to make sure that we're sowing our time into things that produce a result. So if I say that I want 6 figures, then what do I need to be focused on? I need to be focused on what? Lead generation. I have to be getting people to come either buy my product or service or whatever your side hustle is. If it's marketplace, I don't care what it is. For this conversation, we're going to focus on network marketing and coaching, right? Those are the 2 things we're going to focus on. So if you're a coach, you have to have leads. The leads become what? Clients, hopefully raving clients, raving fans that then refer everybody they know. So if your job is lead generation, then your time needs to be spent on lead generation and what? Conversion. We need to make sure we're getting the leads in the door, we're talking to the leads, and we're converting them to sales. This is how it works. But we have to have a very finite goal. So for example, let's say you have to have 10 sales a month or 20 sales a month to meet your big goal. Well, that means that you're going to have to do a certain amount of activity, which I'm going to have Shanda fill you guys in on here in a minute. But ratios are very important. But you see, you can't spend your time, dusting and doing the laundry and expect the lead generation and conversion to take care of itself. In fact, what we need to get really good at is focusing on the things that move the needle towards our goal and outsourcing everything else. If you can't afford somebody to do your laundry, get your kids to do it. Pay them. Pay your neighbor. There's always somebody that's willing to, make a little money on the side to do some of these activities. So number 1, we're talking about energy, tuning in your frequency, right? Making sure that we're attuned to the right radio station, and that is a daily task. Sometimes it's a minute by minute task, okay? Number 2, we have to make sure that our time is going into the right activities to get the goals that we say we want, right? Number 3 is our why. And then I'm going to pass it over to Shanda. But I really, really need you to get in touch with why is 6 figures important to you. See, anybody can do something for a short time. Anybody can get motivated to go make 6 figures, right? Anybody can do that. You can get motivated. But motivation isn't going to carry you through to get the job done when things get tough. Motivation doesn't get you bouncing out of bed in the morning. It doesn't have you staying up late. It doesn't have you acquiring a new skill. It doesn't have you changing your diet or your exercise routine. Motivation doesn't do that. Motivation is a minor feeling that stays for a while and then leaves. We have to become obsessed with why. So for example, when I started in network marketing, one of my obsessions was retiring my mom. That was an obsession for me. I wanted to be able to retire my mom. Well, I was able to do that. It took way longer than I thought it was going to, just so you guys know. So if you feel like your, goals are taking longer than expected, welcome to the party. It's normal. Top producers always want things to happen faster, right? We're willing to do the work, but we expect things to happen faster. And sometimes they do, but sometimes they take a lot longer than you expect them to take. Part 2 of that is, now that I've met my why has to change. And some of you forget to adjust your why. Maybe in the beginning, your why was to get rid of your job, or maybe it was to make an extra $1,000 a month, or maybe you're, wanted to be able to teach your kids a different way to live. Your why started somewhere, but most likely your why is going to shift. So if you think about your why, is it to the point where it would move you to stay up late, get up early, change your habits, change the way you think, right? Because to go from $50,000 to $100,000 a year requires change. You can't stay the same and get a different result. It doesn't work like that. The definition of insanity is doing something over and over and over again and expecting a different result. It doesn't work like that. We have to change the way we're thinking so we can change the result we're getting. Now, we're not guaranteeing 6 figures. I'm saying this is the roadmap for anyone to be able to create any kind of income, whether it's $10,000, $100,000, or $1 million. We have to have goals. We have to be tuned to our frequency. We have to know why we're doing it. And it has to become an obsession. Anything that's not an obsession, have y'all noticed that the world is really busy? Have you ever noticed the world is trying to suck up your time constantly with this and that and like distractions? Anybody notice that? Well, if you're not obsessed with where you're going and with your goal, you will get distracted. You will get pulled off point. And if you don't have accountability to drag you back in and hold that microscope down and say, hey, listen, this is what you said you wanted. This is what you said you were going to do. You're not doing it. How come? Let's go. Without that accountability, and this is why most people fail, because they don't have the accountability. You must have the accountability. Now, for me, when I'm thinking about my life, my big goals, my goal this year is bigger than it's ever been. And I feel like I know less than I've ever known. So that's funny. My goal is bigger than it's ever been, and I feel like I know less than I've ever known. The reason I feel that way is because wisdom reminds you of what you do not know. Okay, so we're going to teach you throughout the year how to think like a millionista, how to act like one, how to take the actions and the habits. But wisdom is when you apply actually do the thing, apply the knowledge. Wise women finish wealthy. Wise women finish wealthy. So we don't want to just know and not do. Knowing and not doing is useless. And this is what most of the world does. So if you're on here and you're a doer, right? I want you to drop a 1 in the chat if you're a doer. I want to see where my doers are at. So we know that we have to be wise women. We have to take wise action, right? Working on the right things. And we have to stay diligent along the course. Wisdom says that I want accountability. I hired a coach this year. Very expensive. I did it because I know for me to go to the next level, I need coaching and accountability. So if I'm doing that at my level, what do you need to be doing at your level? See, I learned this from my coach and mentor. My coach and mentor had their coach and mentor. Nobody at the high successful levels is alone. They don't do it alone. They always have a coach. They always have a mentor. They most likely have a mastermind, and they're plugged into somebody that's not them. Because guess what? You're going to talk yourself out just as easily as you're going to talk yourself in every single day. This is what you're going to do, right? You're going to get some big opportunity or some big break, or, have the chance to do something, and you're going to start talking to yourself, and you're going to start hearing things like, who do you think you are to do this? It's not going to last, blah, 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 blah. That's the mind committee going to work on you. But the reality is we can't listen to ourselves. We can talk to ourselves. We can say, listen, you stop talking to me like that. I don't want to hear it. I know it sounds a little crazy, but I promise this is how it works. Ask yourself, who am I to be wealthy and successful, right? And you want the answer to be, I am me. I am that I am. I am that I am. That's who I am, right? But unfortunately, most of us, tune into the vibration around us. And I hope you guys can catch this. As far as learning to make 6 figures, I can give you a business map. We have profit calculators. We have a coach certification program where you can actually sell our courses and work within our community and earn money from home. We have multiple network marketing companies we can refer you to. We teach online marketing. All of that can be done. But if you're not tuned into the right frequency, knowing that you're worthy, knowing that I am, that's why I am worthy, knowing that you are a part of the creative force, you are a part of the source. If you don't know that, you're going to believe all the nonsense that your friends and family are going to spit at you. Who do you think you are to get wealthy? Who do you think you are? Your mom did this and you're going to do this. What do women do? Somebody drop in the chat what women are given, what job options women are given in school. Go ahead, drop it in the chat. What job options are the typical job options for women in the chat? I know we've got people on here all the way from 23 to 60, it looks like, that I can see. So you guys, honestly, what job options are women given? Somebody drop in the chat, because I'll tell you what, we say that there's no glass ceiling, but is that really true? Administration, teacher, yep, keep it coming, guys. You know what they are. Let's go. Let's pull the Band-Aid off this one. This is where we're going to break off this patriarchal nurse. Yeah, teacher or nurse. That's right. You bet. You'd make a great teacher. Oh, would I be great at making $40,000 a year so I can't afford to live? Is that what I'd be good at? A wife, a mom, kind of making money doing that. Assisting men. Yes, of course. You'd make a great receptionist, wouldn't you? A great executive assistant. Yeah, would I? I'd also make a great CEO. Get out of my way. Okay. Medical. You bet. Because why? We're just, we're built for that. You guys get it? Look at this. You guys know in your brain somewhere you have a glass ceiling somebody put there. Does that piss you off a little? Does it irritate? Yeah, childcare. That's also a good one. Does it irritate you just a little bit that somebody, no thanks, right? Somebody put in a glass ceiling in your mind that says because you're a female, you'd be a great nurse, wife, mom, teacher. Would you be great at those? A server? Yeah. Would you be great at those? Of course you would. But you'd also be great at becoming a millionaire. You'd also be great at being an entrepreneur. You'd also be great at being a 7 or 8 figure coach. You'd be great at a lot of things. You'd be great at, I don't know, whatever you want to do. Running a multi-million-dollar corporation, right? Like, I don't know, taking over the world, global domination, right? It doesn't mean you're any less of a woman. It doesn't mean you're less of a mom. It doesn't mean you're less of a wife if you're doing those things. As a matter of fact, wise women finish what? Wealthy. Wise women finish wealthy. That is our new hashtag. Wise women finish wealthy. Because the reality is that you can be, do, and have anything you set your mind to, so long as we break the ceiling that's in our mind. We cannot allow ourselves for 1 second to believe those things to be true. They are not true. After the war, women went to work, and they went to work in factories so that they could, because the men were gone. This is how this all happened. So you were allowed to work. You were allowed to work so that you could earn money for your family in factory positions. You weren't allowed to become a lawyer, doctor, dentist, whatever else, judge. No, you were allowed to go to work in a factory so that you could save the war effort. That's what you were allowed to do. And that was less than what? 100 years ago, 150 years ago, not even. I don't even know. I have to do the math, right? 100 years ago, probably. My grandma lived through this. Okay. It's FYI. 100 years ago, when did women get a vote? Drop it in the chat. Does anybody know when women were allowed to vote? Does anybody know that number? Somehow becoming independently wealthy was never suggested as an option growing up. I know, random, right? Why? Are you telling me that we're not smart enough or fast enough or whatever? Wise women finish wealthy. Wise women finish wealthy. And we're going to be doing wise couples finish wealthy. And we're going to be doing wise kids finish wealthy. Oh yeah, this year, hold on to your hats. We're going to knock some home runs. Because I want that glass ceiling so far gone from your mind that you never think like that again. I want for you to know that if you want to be a teacher, fill your boots, absolutely do it. Also, you'll have streams of income coming in so you could teach for free if you wanted, because living on a teacher's salary, surefire way to go broke, right? No offense. Okay. So, and that's nurse, whatever. I'm sorry, but doctors barely make enough to live now. So if you're making anything less than $300,000 a year, you're broke. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Ask any executive secretary who actually runs a company legitimately, right? Seriously. Okay, guys. So I don't know where that came from. Somebody, if you guys needed to hear that just now, I want you to drop a 2 in the chat if you needed to hear that, because that was not part of what I was going to talk about. But I really feel like as we go for the big goals, as we go to hit that 6 figures, as we go to elevate ourselves, this is the stuff that comes up in our minds. And we have to be willing to, as Jim Rohn says, shove our fear in the corner. As Melanie Greenough says, flick it off your shoulder. Sorry, not today. Bye. No, thank you. I don't need that. I don't need to buy that lie. I don't need to buy that truth. I don't care if that's how it's always been done. It doesn't mean that's how I'm going to do it. Doesn't mean anything. I'm going to do what I was put here to do. That means we have to develop our purpose, our passion, our vision, our mission, hang around She's Creating an Empire long enough, you're going to know exactly why you were put here. You're going to know exactly what that song is, exactly what your genius zone is, and exactly how to monetize it in the marketplace for the benefit of everyone around you, by the way. So with that, I'm going to bring on Shanda. Shanda is a senior coach with She's Creating an Empire. I've been working with her for 5 years. When I met her, she was an employee in a beige cubicle. She hated her life. She did all the right things. She did everything she was taught to do. She had multiple properties. She was a landlord. You know, she was the highest, highest up in her career that she could go. She was at war with everyone at work. She had a lot going on, and she had done it all right. Okay, this is what I need you guys to hear. So if you're here and you did it all right and you're still not financially independent, don't worry. That's because they trained you to be a 97 percenter. That's what they trained you to do. They trained you to fail. They groomed you to fail. And that's what we're turning around with She's Creating an Empire. We're here to create what? 2 percenters. People that do it different. Do it different. Wise women finish wealthy. So with that, Miss Shanda, I'm going to just add you here. I'm so excited that you're here. I know I asked Shanda to come on. It's Shanda Wright, by the way. You guys can follow her at shanda.life on Instagram and at Melanie Greenough now, which you can see on the screen. Go ahead and give us a follow. But what I want you guys to hear from Shanda is that she just didn't happen into a life where she can work from anywhere. She had a full-time job. She was a landlord, and she started a second stream of income, which turned into a third stream, which turned into her retiring. And now she gets to work from anywhere. So I want for her to share with you goals, what it means to set a goal. How many of you are afraid to dream? You've actually gotten to the place where, oh my God, women could vote in 1920. Shanda, that's like 100 years ago. Literally, not just 102 years ago. What in the actual what? And we can't figure out why we're afraid to take the next step in becoming an entrepreneur. Like Lordy in heaven. Okay, so, all right. So as far as goal setting goes, just kind of, you know, I'm going to pass it over to you. You can wrap up the call, but I really want for them to know what you went through as a process of like, you were doing everything you knew how to do and you couldn't quite get it. And then we met and you were able to see a different way. I guess that's what I really want for them to hear. Like there is a different and better way actually, but sometimes you can't see the forest from the trees, right? And then for those of you on here today, I want you guys to think about if you could do anything in 2023 and you knew you couldn't fail, what would it be? Like, what would you actually do? Like, what would you do for income? Let's just start with income. Would you actually go out and create a 6-figure income from home? If that's you, drop a 10K in the chat because we are dead serious about helping you elevate this year through strategy, skill, mindset, education, and your hard work. That's what I need you to hear. You got to get focused, make an obsession, and get to work. That's what's going to take. But we're here to coach you every step of the way. So Shanda, I'm going to pass it over to you. Obviously, Shanda has 40 under 40, top 40 under 40 in her market in Canada. She has literally been on stage in some very cool places, one of which was just this year, featured on stage on a women's panel. She has actually created 2 streams of income in the network marketing industry that pay her more than most people make at a job. She's a senior coach, which means she's crushing it. So she's a Bitcoin investor. She's an investor. She's a trader. She's got a lot going on, guys. She knows exactly what to do to help you get to the next level. So you go ahead, Shanda, and I'll pass it to you.
Thank you so much, Mel. Let's get some 5s in the chat. Actually, let's get 10K in the chat for Melanie Greenough because that's what we do here, right? We do 10K months. So thank you, Melanie, for teaching me that there was a better way, for sharing a perspective, and quite frankly, being an example. For me, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but I never met anyone like Melanie Greenough before. I was like, what is this sparkly unicorn of a free, bold, strong, unapologetically her person? And so just showing me a unique life, showing me that you could book one-way tickets and travel the world, showing me that you could be present with your children and run a dynamic business, that you could foster your life and your relationships to a high standard and make a ton of money. Because I was taught that wealthy people were selfish. and that you had to sacrifice your health and your family and relationships to make money. So I did that, and I still didn't make enough money. So that was super fun for me. So my name is Shanda Wright, and I am a senior coach here with She's Creating an Empire. I'm so grateful to be a part of this mission. And I want to share with you how you can become obsessed. When you set goals, I mean, there's the practical how to set goals. And that's what you're going to learn inside the Financial Fitness Academy, inside our time management planner system. That's what we can do on a strategy call, is actually lay out step-by-step process for you. But you got to get obsessed, right? And hi, Brittany, good to see you. I'm so glad you guys are all here. I love every name I can see. I'm just like, these are my people. Oh, I used to work with people I did not like, and I don't have to do that anymore. I'm so grateful. Okay. So when it comes to thinking about your goals, like she said, you have to get obsessed, right? And that obsession can shift and change and can be like that why. She said the third point there, right? You have to know your why. And for me, that's what gets me out of bed in the morning. And I can tell you my why changed. So when I first started, I just didn't want what I had. I was like, I know I cannot keep doing this. How many of you guys are at a point in your business, in your career, in your income where you're like, this is not going to get me where I want to go? Like, we have to set new goals. I need new vehicles. I need new skill sets. Something has to change, because I was like, I physically could not work anymore. I was taught, if you need more money, go get another job. And then I got another job, and then another job. And then they're like, learn investing. So I started investing, and then I wasn't moving, and it wasn't moving, and it wasn't moving. Oh my gosh, it was just constant. And so I just found someone who had what I want. Number one key to success, find someone who has what you want, follow their directions to a T. So I did that, or at least my version of to a T. It definitely was not to a T, and I'm continuing to learn that as we go. I'm like, I swear I've heard you say this, but now I understand it. So stick around long enough to actually get it. If there's one piece of advice I can give you, it's to stick around long enough to really have it resonate. There's a difference between being able to regurgitate and memorize and to be able to implement and know. So I've been here for 5 years now. I'm making more money than I used to make, traveling the world. I'm investing consistently. I understand the financial markets. I've learned about crypto, which was like a whole scary world for me back in the day. And more than anything, I know that whatever I put my hand to, I know how to prosper it. So whether I decided to build a traditional business or become a coach or start a network marketing company, I actually know how. So it's given me the sense of identity and strength inside of me, knowing that I can actually create the reality I want, and I actually have the skill sets to do it. So connecting to your why is going to be very important, because you know what? You're gonna not feel like it sometimes. I don't care if it's posting, if it's working with people, if it's, getting onto the charts. It doesn't matter if it's sticking to your budget. It doesn't matter what your goal is this year. Getting to the gym, right? We have all of these goals. And, again, we're going to talk about that in the Financial Fitness Academy. If you need actual structured help picking your goals and really breaking them down, that's what a strategy call is for. And I do strategy calls with She's Creating an Empire. So actually, Heidi, can you drop the strategy call link, just so that if they're like, yes, I need help setting goals, let's do this thing, that they know how to book me. But specifically, setting goals is, what do you want? What do you want? And why do you want it? And why is that going to get you out of bed in the morning when a snooze sounds better, or to say no to things? And I'm going to tell you, there's 2 different ways to really connect to your why. One is the negative. And that's where I started. I hated what I did. I actually had a friend play spa music this morning, and I was like, that's the exact song I used to play in my headphones when I worked in my beige cubicle to drown out the gossip and the negativity, because at the beginning of the workday, everyone would start with an hour-long gossip session. And it was so toxic, and I didn't enjoy it. And so I vividly am, back there today because of that song, because it was my sanctuary amongst the chaos. So if you're not where you want to be, I want you to know there's a blessing and a challenge in that, just like everything. Everything comes with blessings and challenges. Okay. So the blessing is that you have constant reminder of what you want, which is not that, right? I don't want to work with her. I don't want to go there. I do not want to wake up at this time on a Tuesday. I do not want to have to go to work on a a day that should be a holiday family day, right? So I didn't want to work Christmas. I didn't want to work New Year's. I didn't want to clean up rentals. I didn't want to work for somebody else. And I didn't want my beige cubicle. And I didn't want to serve tables at night. Okay. So that's what I didn't want. And that moved me to move towards something. And then I found Melanie and I was like, okay, well, let's move towards that. That sounds better. Right. So the challenge in the negative, you get the constant reminder of what you want, why you want it. But guess what? There's so few people at that vibration. There's everyone around you is going to be talking you out of it. And so if you're going to protect your goals, if you're going to protect your focus, focus needs to be protected. We need to protect our focus as we go into 2023. And if you're going to protect your focus, you have to drown out those noises, just like I did with the spa music. So whether it's someone who's going to say, no, debt doesn't matter. Let's just go and, go out tonight. You deserve it. You've been working really hard. Or, that's okay. You can skip the gym today. Or don't worry about posting on social media every day. You've been on your phone way too much lately. Can't you just, right? So when you have people who have not done the thing that you're going to do surrounding you, you're going to have to be really strong. And I can tell you there's one tip I have for that. And that's get around people that are going there. That's why I make decisions when I'm in Melanie Greenough's presence. When she says do this and I'm with her, I'm like, okay. And then I book it because that way I can't back out. And I just used that sense of certainty she had and that sense of conviction she had to move me forward, because I knew for sure there would be no other voices talking me into my dreams. So you're in She's Creating an Empire, you're in the right place. And we've got lots of, whether it's masterminds or trainings, to be able to keep you plugged in at a more intimate level. So surround yourself with the things that are going to speak life into your goals instead of, trying to talk you out of it. We all have those friends, right? So the negative has that blessing and that challenge. And then there's another way that you can connect to your why. And it's not about getting what you want. And for those of you who are actually not that upset, right? Maybe you're making a decent amount of money. Maybe you're not drowning. Maybe you're not the financial head of the household in your current dynamic. Maybe you're good. And they say good is the enemy of great. Why is that? Because there's no negative to push you out of it. There's nothing that's going to drive you forward, keep you obsessed, keep you connected, because you don't have someone, telling you what to do at work all day. So how do you get the momentum, the obsession, and the why when you're comfortable? And I'll tell you right now, it needs to be a part of who you are. Who are you? What are you going to be known for at the end of this life? How are people going to describe you? What impact are you going to leave on their personal, right? Whether you teach something, whether you give something, whether you create something, whether you're a part of something, you have to identify with it. I'm the CEO of a multi-million-dollar international corporation. I am a global traveler. I am a top investor and trader. I am a leader of leaders. I am a success coach. So when I get up in the morning, I say, I am an athlete. I am a CEO. I am a queen. I am dynamic. I am a global traveler. And that sense of identity requires me to show up in a certain way. CEOs and athletes don't hit snooze and sleep in until noon and then not go to the gym. They just don't do that. And so I've heard this before. They say, envision the person who has your goals and act as if you already are. And I never understood that completely, because I was like, if I knew what to do, I would do it. But the truth is you need to assume the identity because it's who you are. And I'll tell you right now, there's a process to that. I didn't know who I was. I literally have pens that say I'm worth it on it because I went through such a crazy self-esteem journey. I was suicidal when I met Melanie. And so it specifically was really hard for me to connect to. But I want you to know this. You get one life. You get one kick at this can, and time is going to go by no matter what you do. What are you going to do? If not this, then what? Do you want to help people? I'll tell you how I did that this year. Every year I reconnect to my why. I make sure that it's bigger and more meaningful and more impactful so that I have more steam and a full gas tank to enter into the year. So this year for me, guess what? I used to sell radio advertising. In 2008 is when I started. So between 2008 and 2010, I worked with hundreds of small and medium-sized business owners to navigate the last recession. And it was really hard. 30% of them went out of business. Lots of them ended up in debt or bankrupt. Many of them actually ended up divorced. Some even committed suicide. I had friends and family that were laid off that ended up moving in with their parents or having their parents move in with them because people couldn't afford things. I remember that so vividly because I was part of the solution. And I was learning my first career. It was like the first time being a real live grown-up, right? I had my official beige cubicle. I had arrived. My beige cubicle, it was like arriving, right? When you're young, it is. And so I know that struggle intimately. And I know what it means when you have to turn off your advertising to pay the light bill. I know what it looks like for the average entrepreneur to have to make the decision to go into the people that have been bleeding and sweating and crying for their dream for the last 5, 10, 15 years and tell them, I'm sorry, we're closed tomorrow. You have to go find a new job. It's not fair. It's not fair what's going on in the world right now. And it's going to be even harder this time because now cost of living is going up. And we just got through one of the hardest last 2 years that is real. And so we don't have the 2005, 2006, 2007 level of extra money and grace and abundance. We just barely made it through 2022, 2021, and 2020. So what's happening in 2023 is all of this is coming together. And I know that I have the answer because if your bills are paid before you go to work, if your debt is at zero, if you have multiple streams of income going in, if your money makes more money while you sleep than you can make while you're awake, if you have leads coming in every single day, maybe, just maybe, you can afford to keep the lights on and the doors open and support people around you, be able to be a resource instead of someone who needs resources. And so for me, I know that I'm in the right place at the right time with the right people on the right mission. And I needed to do that. And you know what? You have to get connected to that. What are you going to do with your time? What are you going to do with your money? You have one life. What are you going to spend it doing? I have found no more noble a cause. I have found a no more fun group of women. I have found a no better paying position personally. I can't make more money, have more fun, enjoy the process, and leave a better dent in this world than I can with She's Creating an Empire, period. So when you think about what upsets you about the world, what are you going into this year intending to create? What are you going to focus on making better? And right now, maybe you've got a bunch of negativity and that's okay. Move away from that. It's a beautiful motivator. And maybe, just maybe, you can sit there and say, I am a CEO. I am the head of my household. I am debt-free. I am a leader of leaders. I am here to help others. And if you want to join us on our mission, I don't know if the coach intake's open. Doesn't matter. Book a strategy call. I'll tell you then because I'll find out. But for real, this is really what we do here at She's Creating an Empire. We make sure you have more than enough to be able to do whatever you need to do. And if you don't have leads, you can't build a business. If you have too much overhead, you can't sustain any weathering of the storm. You don't have multiple streams of income. What happens if AI takes over or freaking, a big conglomerate comes into town or whatever happens, right? Yes, the coach intake is open. Okay, book a strategy call if you guys feel what I feel and want to be a part of what we're doing. I'm so excited. And so what I want you to do is ask yourself, at 90 years old, what do you want to say you did? Just imagine with your great-great-grandbaby bouncing on your knee. What do you want to say? I did that. I was there. That's how I impacted the world. That's what I did with my energy. And so when you can connect to what you want to be known for, what you want to enjoy, what you want to become, and who you are, you can show up and you can execute at a high level. And we'll track it. We'll set ratios. We've got all the systems in place inside She's Creating an Empire to be able to help you get the job done. But you got to figure out what you want and why you want it. And for me, it was getting out of the beige cubicle and seeing more beaches. Now it's to make sure you guys are out of your beige cubicles and you guys are seeing beaches. It's about giving back what was given to me. And so it doesn't matter if you've got this big, hairy, audacious goal, or if it's something that feels big to you but doesn't look big on paper, 2023 is the year for focus and for really getting what we came for. We're going to get it. We're going to get it this year. And if you need help, we're the how people. The recession is here, but we can be recession proof. Exactly. There's systems and tools. They just don't teach it to us in school. Why do you think we're going to be teaching the kids? It's really about helping regular, average, ordinary people live an extraordinary life. And that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. So when it comes to 2023, figure out what you want, why you want it, connect to that, get some emotion behind it. I hope your why makes you cry like mine does, because that means you're in love with it, right? That means that you're passionate about it. That means that you're right there. And if you're in a place where you don't have that connection yet, then that's what we do. And we can just have a strategy call and talk through it. And maybe joining us on our mission is the right thing. We're on a mission to impact 1 million lives. Period. End of story. We're going to have 1,000 coaches and She's Creating an Empire by the end of 2023. And we can't do that alone. You know, people I don't know. You know, people Melanie doesn't know. We need your help because the world needs this. We paid off over $5 million as a community last year in debt. 5 million. Average person adds 3 to 4 streams of income. Marriage is restored. Crazy. Over 600 people just from our community had start their journey of learning how to master the markets. Crazy, right? And this year, it's go time. So we would love your help. We'd love you to join us on this mission. We'd love to see you be a part of this. And if that's not your calling, your purpose, your thing, that's okay. We'll still help you get there. We've got lots of strategies and tools to help you grow. So I'm excited for 2023. Thank you again, Melanie, for everything, for bringing us together, for equipping us to win, for showing us how to go to new heights this year. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of it.
I absolutely love it, Shanda. Thank you for jumping on. You guys, Shanda volunteers her time here, just so you know. She is actually stepping into a leadership role within the corporate side of our company. We're really excited for what's to come. And we have onboarded 2 new people in 2 new roles just this last month to make sure that we can carry out our mission. Now, we're also going to be doing some heavy lifting with saving women and children from trafficking, specifically in India, but of course, globally. We want to be able to empower families to teach their children how to get wealthy. I know you may have heard this, but did you do it? $200 a month put away from the time you're 19 makes you a millionaire by the time you're 40. I don't know. Like, what are we doing? So there's some really basic stuff that we can do, but we have to start now. So with that, guys, go ahead, book your strategy call. I'm going to put that up on the screen one more time so you guys can make sure that you get that done. And know that our holiday bundle is only on until January well, actually, technically December 31st. There is a strong cutoff date for that. We are going to be right now. It's crazy. You get coaching, plus you get momentum group for an entire year. How would you like to be mentored for 2023 by myself and my top coaches on how to absolutely transform your life and do what Shanda did? Go from cubicle or business, right? Like I was traditional business, she was an employee, but we both transitioned out of that life into full-time online entrepreneur and becoming CEOs of our life, business, and bank accounts. And that's really what the goal is. I want you to be in love with what you do, in love with your life. Yes, are you going to work hard? For sure you are. This isn't about retiring and sipping, pretty drinks on the beach, although we do that a lot. But it is about being able to really feel like the reason you're here on the planet is making a difference and that you matter and that what you do matters. And that's really at the core of She's Creating an Empire. So with that, Shanda, of course, I'm so grateful to have you here. And I am looking for our next set of coaches that want to put their hand up and say, I want to be a part of that mission. So with that, be blessed. We'll see you on the strategy call, guys. And of course, next week, very special invite. Next week, we are doing a vision board training. How many of you would like to do a vision board workshop? Like an actual workshop where you come on, you learn to do a proper vision board with the right energy and the right pictures and the right deal so that you can really tune into that frequency. If that's you, you're going to want to go ahead and keep an eye out for the email. You'll get an email invite. I would also put it out to you to invite everyone you know. bring your kids, bring your friends, bring your girlfriends, bring your husbands, do the vision board thing together. I taught my kids how to do vision boards when they were 7 and 8 years old. They still do them. My daughter's on here. Actually, I saw Kelsey on here, who's my other daughter, meaning she's from another family, but basically, you know, I grew up with her. She grew up with me as another mother. And she learned to do vision boards. She learned all of that and now you guys, she is a 20K plus month earner, which is much more than that, but we're just going to stop right there in her coaching business, just FYI. She has been featured in media. You guys can check her out. But the reality is when you teach your kids from a young age how to build vision, everything changes. And you can start like now, because it doesn't matter if you're 40, 50, 60, 70, I don't care. Next week, Vision Board Masterclass. This is where we're going to be. You guys can get registered, and we will be doing that most likely on Zoom. I think Shanda will do it actually in Zoom so that we can do Q&A and like actually talk to people, talk them through it. But the registration will be on shescreatingempire.com/events and or in the Facebook group. Love you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.